Hi guys, welcome to my channel Education and Masti. So today we are going to deal with the part 2 of the chapter Chemical Reaction of Chemistry. And in this we are going to discuss two topics that are characteristics of chemical reaction and catalyst. So first let's start with the characteristics of chemical reactions. So first let's tell me your introduction about that. So a chemical reaction is always accompanied by some observable changes. Like any chemical reaction, when it takes place, there are changes that can be observed by us. So these observable changes in a chemical reaction are called characteristics of chemical reaction. Means are changes which we are able to observe by us. Means like if we are able to observe those changes, so those changes are called the characteristics of chemical reactions. So on the basis of that only, there are 5 types of characteristics of chemical reaction. So let's first start with that first type. So the first one is formation of precipitate. So let me write this down here. Formation of precipitate. So we know that this precipitate is a, you can say, curdy white type of thing which is insoluble in liquid. So some chemical reactions are accompanied by the formation of a product which is called the precipitate. So this precipitate, as I have told you, they are insoluble solid products which are formed when two solutions are mixed together. So what is this precipitate? These are the insoluble solids which are formed when two solutions are mixed together. So they are insoluble solid. This thing we need to keep in mind. Okay, this is the thing we need to keep in mind. Now let me explain you this formation of precipitate by one example. So let's take the example, like if we are taking some amount of silver nitrate solution in a clean test tube. Means we are taking a test tube. In that I am taking what? I am taking silver nitrate AgNO3 plus I am taking the sodium chloride solution NaCl and then what the reaction will come? It is your silver chloride and this one sodium nitrate, means NaNO3. So now let's see what actually it is. I have written this chemical equation. Now let's see. So when we are adding some amount of water to sodium chloride and when we are shaking it well to get a solution. Now add this solution to the test tube containing silver nitrate solution. Now what it is telling, that we have to take silver nitrate and sodium chloride we have to mix it with water. And when we will mix silver nitrate with sodium chloride, then we will get the mixture of silver chloride and sodium nitrate as it has come. So therefore we will see that there is a formation of silver chloride precipitate which is curdy white precipitate. So there is a formation of the precipitate. Curdy white precipitate is being formed. So this is what called the this formation of precipitate. So by this example I hope you have understood. Now let's move on to evolution of gas. Let's start with the second topic, that is the evolution of gas. So this is also one of the characteristics of the chemical reaction, evolution of gas. So what is this actually evolution of gas? So in some chemical reactions we know that evolution of gas also takes place. So for understanding that, let's look at one example. So now first we will take a test tube. You know everything, whatever is happening in that test tube is important. So in that we are going to take with something, that is CaCO3, means calcium carbonate, plus HCl, that is hydrochloride. Then the reaction will come CaCl2 calcium chloride plus water plus carbon dioxide. Now let's first understand the reaction. So let's first understand now. So what is this reaction saying to us? Okay, so let's go back and understand what is this reaction telling to us. So take a small amount of calcium carbonate salt in a dry clean test tube. Add very small amount of dilute hydrochloric acid into this test tube. Okay, means we are taking a test tube and adding these things. The acid should be added slowly along the sides of the test tube. Here HCl, this is hydrochloride. Okay, so we should add it slowly because it's an acid. Here what it is happening, calcium carbonate plus hydrochloride acid is giving birth to this solution, calcium chloride, water and carbon dioxide. So brisk effervescence is absorbed. Now what is this effervescence? The evolution of gas in the form of bubble is called effervescence. Okay, so this is due to the evolution of carbon dioxide. As we are adding acid in that, the carbon dioxide is being evaporated, or you can say effervescence of carbon dioxide can be felt. So when calcium carbonate in the test tube reacts with the dilute hydrochloric acid, it gives out the carbon dioxide gas as the effervescence, and this calcium chloride and water are also formed as the side products. So this is about the evolution of gas in some chemical reaction. This is also being absorbed. Now let's see the third reaction. So now let's start with the change in color. This is also one of the characteristics, that is change in color. So by the name you can understand in a chemical reaction when the color changes. So that is what this happens in this. So for better understanding, let's take the this example, because in this nothing we have to do. This is characteristic and this happens in some of the chemical reaction. For better understanding, we will take some example. So first we will write the this one, the equation. So the equation is little bit big. Then this arrow mark is there. Do you remember this arrow mark? Have I taught you this one? Yes, of course I have taught you. In chapter 4 we understood this one, that when this arrow mark is given, then it is a reversible reaction, which we can reverse this reaction. So now let's do that. H2O. Okay, 5H2O it is given. So let's understand this. So we are taking the small amount of this copper sulfate. So this is copper sulfate. Okay. So in a test tube we are taking, in a dry test tube. So now we will hold this test tube with the test tube holder and heat it, because you cannot hold it in your hand and heat it. So now blue colored copper sulfate on heating loses its color. Okay. So when we are heating the copper sulfate solution, after heating, when it is heated, after heating what happens? It loses its color. Means now blue it was there, now it loses its color. Now if we will allow this hot test tube to get cooled, white colored copper sulfate salt turns back to its original blue color. So what can be understood by this? What we can understand, that in some of the reactions also this cooling effect is being used as. Okay. So by this we can conclude that like in some reaction there is color change when we are heating it. So there are this type of many reactions are there. As I told you, this is blue copper sulfate. So this is in blue, it was in blue color, but after heating what happened? It became the means color loss was there, means it became again white, but after cooling again it changed to its own color. So after heating what happened? This copper, this one was formed copper sulfate without water molecules. Okay, so why this reaction is here? It is given because this copper sulfate was formed without any water molecules in it, and this situation is called anhydrous. Okay, so this copper sulfate, when it was heated, it became blue, this white in color. So but again when it was cooled down, it became blue in color. So this is what about your change in color 1, and I hope you have understood it with the example. Now let's move to the fourth type, that is change of state. Now let's start with the fourth characteristic of chemical reaction, that is change of state. So by the name we can understand, means when there is a change in the state of any chemical reaction, then this is called the change of state of chemical reaction. Okay, so this is very much what you can say, many chemical reactions are there which are being accompanied by change of state. This is a very normal thing. Okay, now first for your explanation I will start with the examples so that you can understand it very much easily. So First example, let's take when we are the reaction is between carbon and oxygen. So you can also give the easiest example, like when also like your hydrogen and oxygen both are gas, but when product comes it is in the state of liquid. So same thing here also happens when carbon is taken, which is solid, and when this oxygen is taken, this is gas, we form carbon dioxide, which is gaseous in state. So on heating it is being formed, so we are writing here heating. So that is only what change of state, like when the product comes different from your reactants, then we can sell it. That I give you one more example of water. H2 plus O gives H2O, which is water. This is gas, this is gas, this is liquid now. So that's why we are doing this. Now let's move on. See, before that let me also explain you about this what I have drawn just now. You can see here H2. Yeah, let's start with the change of state. So let's first deal with what is this actually. So change of state, as by the name we can understand when there is a change in state, like when liquid is changing to gas, gas to liquid, like that only when there is a change in state. So then we are calling it like the change of state in the chemical reactions. So there are many chemical reactions in which the change of state happens. So this is very normal. So for that, for better understanding, let's take one example. So the example is C plus O gives CO2. This is one of the easiest example which I can give you and you can understand it. So this is solid, this is gas, but the product formed is being gas. So carbon plus oxygen, we get carbon dioxide. So here what we can say, change of state, this carbon and oxygen on heating it forms gas. So thus we can conclude that if we are reacting some substances, their product can only not be in that state only, like it would have been in solid also, but it is in gas only. And let's take one more example, hydrogen and oxygen. When we mix, we get water. Both hydrogen and oxygen are gas, but water is not gas, it is you can liquid. So that is one of the examples. So now let's discuss the fifth type, that is change in temperature. Now let's start with the last characteristics of chemical reaction, that is change in temperature. So this is common also, every reaction can have the change in the temperature. Like if it is on 0 degree, it can move to more 10 degrees. Like that it can happen. So change in temperature is also a common thing which happens in most of the chemical reaction. Now there are two types of this. Okay, there are two types of reaction based on this change in temperature. One is exothermic reaction and one is your endothermic reaction. So let's first deal up with this reactions. So these both are reactions. So first let's know about this exothermic reactions. So let's first know about its definitions. So the reactions which are accompanied by increase in temperature release a large amount of heat. So such reactions are called exothermic reactions. Means the reactions which are accompanied by a large amount, or you can say by an increase in temperature, and they release a large amount of energy, or you can say tremendous amount of energy, then it is called the exothermic reaction. So let's understand with the example. So for exothermic reaction, let's take the example. So first let's write the equation. H2O plus CaO gives CaOH2. You might have heard about this one reaction equation. So when water is added to quicklime, means water is added to this quicklime, so which is calcium oxide, it forms calcium hydroxide, as you can see. So this reaction produces a lot of heat energy which boils the water which is being added. Now when this both mix, they form what? They form calcium hydroxide, and this reaction has so much amount of energy that the water is boiled. So this reaction is highly exothermic and the apparatus becomes very hot in which it is being performed. So this is the example of exothermic reaction. Now let's then understand the endothermic reaction. What is this? endothermic reaction. So the reaction which are accompanied by a decrease in temperature, which are absorbing heat from outside, are called endothermic reactions. Means these are the reactions which are being accompanied by a decrease in temperature. Means in this no large amount of energy is being used or is being released, and it is being performed in decreased temperature. And here what happens, this reaction, in this reaction the things which are present, they absorb heat from outside the body. Okay, so this is called endothermic reaction. So for this I will also give you one of the this examples. So let's write the this equation for this one and make you understand this one, endothermic reaction. So let's take NH4Cl plus H2O. It gives NH4Cl. Now see, if we are taking some amount of ammonium chloride, as I have written, in a clean test tube and adding a little amount of water to dissolve ammonium chloride. Only ammonium chloride we cannot take. We need something to dissolve. So we are taking it. So we will fill the test tube at the bottom. It will be cold. When we will mix in ammonium chloride water and we will touch the test tube, then it will become cold. So when ammonium chloride is mixed with water, the solution will be cold at the bottom of it. So this reaction is an example of endothermic reaction. How you know exothermic reaction means more heat, and here this one is cool reaction. Cool reaction is your endothermic reaction. So same thing happens in endothermic reaction. This exothermic is hot reaction and endothermic is a cool reaction. Okay, so in this endothermic, what happens, when here with the example we can understand, when ammonium chloride is mixed with water, then it forms solution which is ammonium chloride and which is very cold. So this is called endothermic reaction. Now we will begin with the second topic, which is catalyst, and this characteristics are being covered. So now let's start with the last topic, that is catalyst. So in some chemical reaction, this chemical substance called catalyst is used. So a catalyst is a chemical substance that changes the rate of chemical reaction without itself undergoing any change, which means that this is a type of chemical substance which changes the rate of chemical reaction. Either it increases the rate or decreases the rate, but itself it is not involved in that change. Okay, so for better understanding, let's perform an example, or let's take an example for this. So the example, N2 plus H2, this one arrow, I think you remember this arrow, this is the sign again, and change is reversible. And H3. Now first we need to balance it out. Here nitrogen 2 is given, but here only one nitrogen is here. So let's write it here. So here hydrogen becomes 6 now. So let's put here 3. We will be getting balanced it. Now here in this reaction, the presence of iron helps to increase the formation of ammonia. So whenever here this reaction takes place, then what happens? Here iron is being left with this reaction. So this iron acts as a catalyst. Okay, so this iron acts as a catalyst in this reaction. So enzymes can also act as catalysts because they are biocatalysts. And enzymes are complex organic substances which act as catalysts of biochemical reactions in living beings. Like inside our body, there are many enzymes through which catalyst process takes place. In living beings, this process takes place as these enzymes are biochemical, or you can say they are biocatalysts, and they perform biochemical reactions inside a living being. So these catalysts are specific in nature. The same biocatalyst cannot be used for all reaction. Okay, like the same page you cannot use to do everything. So same biocatalyst cannot be used for all reaction inside our body. So let's take more example, like inside our body. Let's take some examples. Let's take some example of this new word biocatalyst. So from where has this word come from? Where you got to know about this word? This biocatalyst, actually it is the something which takes inside our body, which is related to biology. Here bio means biology. So biocatalyst here means like related to living beings, you can say living beings or plants or something else. So let's take an example. So an enzyme called amylase present in saliva act as a catalyst converting starch into sugar. Like when you are eating some starch, like you are eating something, then your saliva, it converts, it has a catalyst which is called amylase, which converts starch into sugar for your body. Okay. Then second example, let's take that there is an enzyme called pepsin present in the human stomach, which breaks proteins to amino acids. So what happens in our human stomach? What happens? Our proteins, they get converted to amino acids. Okay, they get converted to amino acids. How they are getting converted? By a catalyst present in our stomach, that is called pepsin. With the help of the pepsin, this reaction is being done. So with this we complete this video. I hope you have understood this. So in the next video I will bring the types of chemical reaction, and don't forget to subscribe, like and share my channel. Thanks for watching this video.